Hi everyone, I'm Sreenag. I'll be guest hosting today's What Happens Next for Shreya Nagarajan Singh. Today we'll be talking to Karan Daswani. He's the founder and creative director of Fingerprints, a digitally led communication design and communication agency. They have offices in India, Australia, the US, and he has 15 years of experience in branding, advertising, and digital marketing. They've won a lot of awards for their work, and the main reason I wanted to get them involved today, I wanted him to speak to all of you because he has a team of maybe over 10-15 people working there, and employing a group of people who are all creative people and artists. He'll have a different take to what some of the other guests have had so far, and let's bring him in now. But before I bring Karan in, let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a photographer based in Chennai. We specialize in architectural photography, and I've known Karan now for about 18 years or so, and he has been a very insightful person to speak to all, make him a good fit to come in here. So we're just waiting for him to get in on the call.
Hey, hey.
How are you guys doing?
Good. How about you?
Good, not bad.
Yeah.
Work's going on.
Yeah, things are definitely challenging.
Yeah. So let's just start with a few questions since we have about 15 minutes here.
Yeah, sure.
How are things going at your company? I mean, you're also in Chennai. So how are things going for you guys, and how's work affected, more importantly?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much the same across the world, not so geography specific. Things are definitely challenging. But I think what's different for us is that, really, I think our industry, our folk, can really, these sort of challenges really ignite creativity. So I think it's really an opportunity to discover, do something new. The landscape is changing every second, so it's a huge opportunity for us, honestly.
Right. And are you looking at different kinds of work coming in right now, or is it more of the same?
Obviously, it's a mix and match of both. I honestly think that most brands today, and especially true brands, don't drop off the face of in challenging times, right? Brands do
Right.
need to. There is still brand tone, brand intent, brand personality. While marketing spends and media budgets might be cut, it's really
Yeah.
about how do you add value to your brands at this point. So
Right.
that being said, it's about innovating. There's a whole bunch of new data that's coming up. Things
Sorry?
like so there's a whole bunch of data that's now coming up. I mean, that things like you and me, people like you and me experience. Brands are essentially built to build relationships, right? And you just don't build relationships if you drop off when things are
Yeah.
challenging.
Yeah.
So that being said, I'm seeing a lot of brands and some of the stuff that we are doing where we are reflecting internally on, what is the brand strategy going to be, what is the brand approach, so what is our new communication language going to be. So
Right.
things are different, but I think work is moving forward.
And what's it like managing a group of people who are working in different places? How many people do you have on your team?
We are about 30 of us right now.
30. Wow. Okay, I'm out of date.
Yeah. Sorry?
I said I remember it when you guys had 15 people, so I'm
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
out of date now.
Yeah, but I think
Okay.
what worked for us, I think we made a call quickly before the government had asked us to even sort of work from home, that we decided to do it ourselves. So well before
Right.
it became government mandate, we were able to quickly make sure people were comfortable. We had put up like a bunch of guidelines that we expected everyone to follow, which we also put on
Right.
our feed. If you had that, I don't know if you had the chance to look at work from home guideline. So it's more
Yeah.
about the smaller, simpler things of making sure you reply to mails within 15, 20 minutes with a timeline as to when you're going to get back. We make sure we are doing calls, a morning and an evening call with the entire team on board. So just to keep the motivation going, to be engaged with each other as much as possible.
Right.
So I think it's been working good and bad. There are definitely pros and cons. Me personally, I'm working much later in the nights, sleeping at 3, 4, but I get to wake up a little earlier. So productivity has gone up a little bit, but other people, it's sort of balancing out here.
Do you like working that late?
I personally do. I mean, that's the best time with no distractions, no kids, no noise. So it's either very early in the morning, which I try to do some amount of workout in, and then later in the evening when I have some peace and quiet.
Right. And do you think this will continue once, once things start to open up again? You think you might continue some work from home?
Positively, I mean, more than us, I think if you look at the brands and the entire ecosystem, I think is completely going to change. I read some news yesterday that TCS is moving a whole bunch of their workforce to work from home. So, like I was saying,
on a permanent basis.
Sorry.
They're planning to move people on to work from home on a more long term.
By 2025, they said the percentage of about 40-45% of them are going to be moving. I'm not sure what the data is on that. But these trends are really insightful for brands to keep up with because, it is changing consumer categories, so to say. It is not your traditional categories anymore. Simple things like, since these guys are going to be more at home today, the men in the house are going to be in the kitchen a lot more. So then marketing strategies for FMCG brands will start evolving now to start talking to different audiences. So it's a lot of things that are going to change in that sense. And it's a high, everything is on high on hygiene quotient now. So how does the brand address that? How do you humanize and really catch the sentiment? If you look at some amount of statistics, some of them are pretty mind-blowing. About 5,400% increase on Google search results for hand sanitizers in the last month. So these give you insights as to where people are moving, what their thinking is. Obviously, people are at home today, so they're starting to pick up on their hobbies. So how do brands start plugging into the new lifestyle, so to say? So for brands, really, I think it's survival of the quickest, not survival of the fittest anymore. I don't think there is an opportunity to wait. There's no chance of waiting till the lockdown ends. We have to start moving now because the new normal is this. I don't think we can expect to wait and watch for the next month or 45 days.
Yeah, and I guess at best we can expect that people will have the vaccine and can start getting cured in a year and a half at least.
Yeah.
Probably more.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it looks like everyone really has to adapt quickly. What do you see the business being like, apart from how you need to strategize your branding and advertising and things like that?
Yeah.
How long do you think it would take for business to come back to normal a little bit?
Like I said, it's a question of new consumer categories that are building. So faster us as creative folk are able to brainstorm with our clients and get them on board fast enough. That's how quickly it's going to move. I think it'll be pretty quick because there are new opportunities. Things are not going to be the same anymore. So the faster we adapt, the faster it's going to sort of pick up. Everything is moving digital, obviously. So it is how do you move your brand digitally? How do you become agile and relevant today? That's really where it's going to be.
Yeah, even for me, I mean, obviously, since I do photography, there's no shoots going on right now.
Yeah.
But everyone's just waiting for things to open up for shoots to start again.
Correct.
And I don't think this is something like where the market crashes because someone made a mistake and no one has money to spend. I think people do have the money to spend, but it's just that it's going to come in spurts, I suppose.
Yeah, I think so. It also depends as to especially since you do a lot of architectural photography, I think the business is slightly different. But, your personal brand, so to say, it makes sense for me to start evaluating what communication you're giving out there, talking to people to let them know how you plan to go about this going forward. Because unless these conversations should have already opened up by now, right? So I think I'm sure we'll all figure out a way. Obviously, your crew size will reduce. You can't have a 15-20 member crew team with lights and the entire setup. you will have to scale down and be smaller and
Correct.
agile.
Yeah.
So I think it will move forward. It's just about using technology smartly and communicating to your consumers how you plan to do it in a safe sort of way.
Yeah, I mean, I think normally every Monday, if I would speak to a client, they'd say it's the weekend, give me a couple of hours to get things underway and call you back. Now it's like no one's been in office, will be in office for like 1.5, 2 months. So that's
Yeah.
going to be a bit of a hiccup.
Yeah, but
So,
yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I'm done. Sorry.
Okay. So, is there anything that you guys are doing differently for your clients right now in terms of, when we spoke earlier, you had mentioned something about helping the clients be more, their communication to be more transparent
Yeah.
and meaningful right now, how they reach out to their audience, right?
Yeah.
So how does that, I mean, you don't need to give anything away, but how does that work? How do you, what's the difference in how you used to communicate before to now?
Like I said, it is a challenging time now. So I mean, brands can't afford to just hard sell anymore. That's just not going to fly, right? I mean, it is the time for brands to truly build relationships. So it is about being transparent about your own hurdles. It is about being transparent about how you are trying to help your community. It is about being transparent and saying, I don't have these sort of funds, but what I can do is what I'm doing for you. It is an option to humanize your brand, right? It's not just about pushing out stuff to sell anymore. So in whatever small way your brand can help to make a consumer journey or a customer's life slightly more joyful during these tough times, I think it's a good opportunity, because these are times that your consumers don't typically forget you. Right? When you invest something in these times, it goes a long way. People don't forget these things that you do for them in these times, versus whenever things do eventually go back to a normal, then you're fighting with the rest of the fish who's trying to again hard sell something on you.
Right.
So like I said, each one of our brands, we're trying to see what we can do to truly help, right? To make life easier for you, and not trying to really come from a financial objective, so to say.
Yeah, and I think it's also a little, must be difficult for you, because all your customers will be asking, all your clients must be asking for, to communicate more with their customers, and probably in a different way than other people.
Yeah, so each vertical is different, each challenge is different, which is why it's very interesting for us. And since we get on board, I mean, most of the clients we work with us as partners and not a client-vendor relationship. So we are really in tune with what's happening with their organization, not just a marketing brief that comes in. So we really try and create our own briefs, create our own projects that we think is going to truly work for the brand.
Right. And when we spoke earlier today, you were talking about how most people are, for websites at least, they look more at the mobile website than the desktop website, right?
Yeah,
so in that same way, considering now people are locked down, but also going forward, people will be at home a lot more or working from home a lot more. And do you feel there are different avenues in which you will be advertising more or reaching customers more, or is that going to remain the same?
No, I definitely think digital is definitely going to be the way forward, but how do you really innovate in the new digital ecosystem is something that's really going to, we need to start figuring out. People are now, I think there are again some statistics about, I think that in the last month there's been a 5% increase or 4% increase in online net banking, the new net banking accounts that have been signed up and stuff. So you already see a trend where people are getting comfortable transacting online. People are moving to more, non-contact forms of communication and stuff like that. Newspapers and stuff are declining, which has already been a trend. I think this is just sort of helps speed things up.
Yeah. And so where do you get your? Is there one place where people get stats from for every type of industry, or?
No, I mean, obviously, there are multiple places for stats. I mean, for a TV, you have a separate stats. For digital, you have Google, for example, gives you a huge amount of data. A whole lot of it is just done through market research. There are payment gateways that give you data. So really collecting pieces of information and trying to stitch them together to give you a direction of what's really going to be happening in the future.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything you want to talk about? Anything that you guys are working on, that you've started working on now that
not specifically. I mean, we are definitely working on quite a few interesting projects that I think have not been done before. But it's all in line to what we've been talking about in this past 15-20 minutes.
Okay.
That's all. I'm going to share that once we're ready to shoot that launch.
Yeah, we'll watch out for that on your page then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, thanks for being here.
Pleasure.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Yep. Bye.
Yep. Okay. Thanks everyone for joining us. I hope you guys had a good time with this talk. I think they'll have Shreya, Nagarajan, Singh will have more interviews starting from tomorrow again. So you can watch out for that. Bye.